All right, time to talk about it. Ahsoka episode 6. Alan, what were your thoughts?
Okay, so here's the thing. I read the comments about us talking about it, and obviously we don't like it. But the comments are always, this is great. What are you not seeing? And the question I have is, what am I not seeing? I mean, what is it? Everyone says it's great. Everyone who likes it and says it's great, they never give an example of why. And
Right.
and this is just this is a prime example of why this show sucks. Um, and this episode is the definitive reason. You had two major appearances that have been talked about since episode 1: the appearance of Thrawn and the appearance of Ezra, and both of them fell flat like a limp noodle. Thrawn appears and he's got the dad bod going on. Okay, fine. But everything we've been asking about these two characters were not revealed in any way. Why is Thrawn, basically the Thanos of Star Wars? Why is Ezra Bridger? Why is he so important to find? And in both occasions, when they appear, it's just as if, hey, we missed you. Oh, I missed you too. Okay, well, welcome back. The thing about Ezra, this meeting, a little bit of banter between him and Sabine, and then a hug, and that was it. How about some emotion? How about this idea that you haven't seen him in a long time? Maybe it would have been great if there was some kind of romantic connection between the two, but instead it's just a hug, and preceded by cute little turtle men. So again, here, this is the folly of Ahsoka. Rebels was a TV show on Disney XD. Wasn't even on the Disney Channel. It was on the Disney XD. I looked it up. The first episode of Rebels, the series premiere, 1 million viewers, and then the third season, 750,000 viewers. Why are we making a full-on television series costing $100 million for a series that very few people saw? I mean, you're talking ratings worse than network ratings, and yet we're making a big deal, and we're telling people you don't need to have seen Rebels. Well, we know that's a lie. You had to, but the thing is, not enough people saw Rebels enough to see this, and this is why. And this is why we're feeling flat when these great moments occur, or when the whales, whatever. It's just I don't understand what Lucasfilm was thinking in making the series without giving us a reason to like these characters beforehand. And so this episode specifically, it just tells me that no one at Lucasfilm knows what they're doing.
Well, I just think that the writing is the weak link in this.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
is the writing is the weak link. And let's go over the key moments.
Let me just say this. I've seen throughout the Mandalorian season 3 and there are elements, there are ideas that are really interesting to look at or to think about. But the people behind the series, Dave Filoni, he's not smart enough to know how to turn these interesting ideas into something that's engaging for a broader audience than the TV series on Disney XD. So there you go. Go ahead.
Well, look, let's go through the key moments of the episode where not a lot happens. It's a Sabine episode, so we're focused on Sabine's character. Okay. She's now been taken captive.
So in the Ahsoka series, this episode is Sabine. Okay, got it.
Yeah, look, I don't mind. I don't mind that they, divert and will, feature other characters. I'd say Sabine is kind of a co-lead with Ahsoka. It's as much her story, since she is, at least aspires to be Ahsoka's apprentice. But so now she's something of a turncoat. Is she just she's pretending to be on their side just to go meet Ezra. But I do not get the big deal about Ezra, because it was never made clear to us. It was made clear in the series what his sacrifice was, effectively sacrificed himself to banish Thrawn to another part of the galaxy. But because we never saw that in the Ahsoka series, means nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing. So it doesn't come with any weight. And the fact that, like, I mean, they've talked more about Ezra in this series than they talked about Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy. It's kind of ridiculous that they have him as this looming goal, right? So,
yeah. And what is it about this guy that makes it worth reactivating Thrawn? You know, that's the question that is unanswered to me.
100%.
Because when they met, he seems just like a guy. You know, I don't see anything special about him. Again, not having seen Rebels, but you know, they're okay. They're just not building characters well here.
All right, so here's the thing, and I'll compare it to One Piece, which I saw and loved. One Piece is driven, the story is driven by the characters. In Ahsoka, the characters are a victim of whatever the story needs to do. And the story is effectively a task and quest driven video game. That's it. That's the level of storytelling. It is cartoon level script writing. It's the storytelling is sort of lacks an epic nature. And a couple of things that I found that really stood out to me was the absolute unimpressive, weak introduction of Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yep.
Both he and Ezra have been talked about throughout this. I mean, Thrawn was mentioned in other Star Wars shows. Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn, right? You meet him, and there's a funny meme. We showed it on the Gary Beekler showed it on the Nooner of like before COVID, after COVID, and that he had the after COVID body. And it's fine, okay, whatever. But and I don't even care if the actor looked like that. He literally was not a commanding presence. He could not act through the makeup. You know, there's something about being in that makeup where you're trying to act through it and it doesn't really, I don't know. I thought the actor was fine, but just made no impression. It's not like, think of the introduction of some of the other villains or key characters from Star Wars when you meet them for the first time, right? The Emperor in The Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader. And he walks through the very first appearance of Darth Vader. There was none of that. There was just a bunch of stormtroopers chanting Thrawn.
Yeah, not even the soundtrack did anything to elevate the either character.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a weak introduction to the character of Thrawn. And then Sabine is, and Thrawn, at least as I have read in the books, I'm more familiar with the book version of Thrawn than I am the version that's in Rebels. That version of Thrawn is this brilliant philosophical strategic general. That's why he's a grand admiral, right? He's this guy who can conquer a planet by studying the artwork of that planet to understand what they fear. There was nothing like that. No indication that there's no, like, I just think of some of the, and a lot of the best exchanges in Star Wars have the least dialogue and almost no pauses, right? There was so much dead time in this. It just was so much dead time. You could really cut 10 minutes out of every episode of Ahsoka and not lose anything. But by contrast, you look at One Piece. One Piece is all about the motivations of the characters. Yes, they're searching for the One Piece. I don't care as much about them searching for the One Piece as I care about Luffy and what he wants, you know, or Zoro or Nanji. Like when you get to know the backstories of all these characters from One Piece, you really care about their journeys. And there is so much backstory to every character in One Piece. I'll discuss One Piece in a little bit, but again, another colossal disappointment in what should have been the two biggest moments in the show. The introduction of Thrawn and getting to know him as a character. He seemed boring and bored. He was like someone took one of the sort of admirals from the fleet, Admiral Piet, who was in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And they just painted him blue. Is he a tool? He just didn't seem to command a presence or instill fear. He certainly instilled loyalty, but how? Show don't tell. And when you hear the conversation between Baylan Skoll and Thrawn was just, I don't know, it was like a meeting. It was like a Zoom meeting. It was boring. And then Sabine comes in and she lets him go, like, oh, see if you can find Ezra. And she finds him in about a couple hours. Why didn't he go off and find Ezra?
Yeah. What was missing was when they finally meet Thrawn, give us an idea of what he's going to do now that he's free.
Right.
But there's none of that. Thrawn is now focused on the arrival of Ahsoka, right, and then the search for Ezra, which he didn't care about for the longest time. And now that Sabine is here, well, now he cares. Look, that might be an interesting plot twist, but I don't understand why. Why did he not hunt him down before? Why did he wait for nothing? I mean, he didn't even know Sabine was coming. See, this is the problem with the story, is there's not a lot of logic put behind it. Yes. And there's, I think the biggest thing is this series is about masters and apprentices. And that's not, you don't build a series on that. I'm sorry, you build a series on a story and the story takes this idea of masters and apprentices and shakes it to its core in a way that, at the end you realize why a master needs an apprentice. They're just showing us different examples of masters and apprentices, and saying that's your series. I hope you're happy.
Well, here we go. So there's the two moments. The Grand Admiral Thrawn entrance was a colossal disappointment. The reuniting of Sabine with Ezra. So now we see Ezra is living in a hut with a bunch of turtle people that are meant to just be. And by the way, I will debate people about this. There's always something cute in Star Wars. In the very first Star Wars, the Jawas were cute. R2-D2 was cute. Why is R2-D2 cute? Because when they came up with the language, this sort of computer language that R2-D2 should speak to express they self, there's no gender to the robots. Who cares? R2-D2, I'm going to say R2-D2 is a him. When he beeps and boops, R2-D2's beeps and boops are based on how a baby would sound, or a toddler, or a young child. That's how they said, well, just like, what would a baby would coo, a baby would do this, a baby would kind of whine, a baby would be frustrated and kind of cry. That was the sound design thing that Ben Burt and George Lucas kind of came up with for R2-D2. It's amazing. So there's something cute in every Star Wars movie. So I don't mind that they're these cute little, in The Empire Strikes Back, it was the Ugnaughts, the Ewoks, of course, in Return of the Jedi. Every Star Wars movie or show, there's something cute in it. That's fine. Didn't bother me. But when they reunite, first of all, we're meeting Ezra for the first time. We're hearing about him. We don't even know the circumstances or why he's so important. The second thing is we're seeing Sabine's reaction, and they open with a joke. You wouldn't think that she would just run up to him. There he is, and just hug immediately. There's time for jokes after. I just felt like,
how about
awkward?
How about a tear? How about a tear?
Yes, bursting into tears. Here's the goal that I've wanted. Even though, if you're going to tell me why it's important to you, you've got to tell me why it's important. You have to express it in your emotions. I just felt like, and I don't blame the actors. It really is. These are director choices.
Yeah, and stuff like that would be in the script.
Right. So weak script and kind of weak directing. So the reuniting Sabine with Ezra is just it just felt like anticlimactic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you criticize us for not having seen Rebels, help us understand why this is the greatest scene of all time.
Why is this important? Why is this important?
And, of course, and why is the reaction that the two of them presented to us, why is that the best way you could have told that that reunion, that you could have presented that to us.
Well, I'll just say this. The best thing in the episode was Baylan Skoll. Ray Stevenson's acting and that character, you can see he's kind of conflicted in a way. You can see that he may have his own plans in mind. And I think that he's the best character. He's certainly better than Grand Admiral Thrawn. Grand Admiral Thrawn left no impression on me. Mm-hmm. I didn't think, oh my God, that was, the show may not be that great, but the guy who plays Grand Admiral Thrawn is badass. It's like they keep saving stuff. Don't save it. Get right to it. Cut to the chase. Just get me to the good parts. Don't save it for like, well, we're going to do that in the movie. Well, we're going to do this. We're saving this for this. No. Challenge yourself. Put the best stuff out there, then it challenges you to come up with better stuff. There's another show that's been doing that. It's called One Piece. I watched the first 2 episodes last week. Then last Saturday, I just stayed home and watched all 6 in a row. And I plan to watch it again this weekend at a pool party. We're going to watch it. And I specifically got a pirate-themed floating cooler just for this party. So a One Piece viewing party, because I want to see the show again. In any case, look, it's not getting better. And what I would say, some of the best moments that should be great moments are missed opportunities. Alan, any final thoughts on this episode?
The biggest, going forward, we're way ahead of the plot. I think we know how it ends. What are the odds that Sabine will be able to move a rock by the end of the series? They're just telegraphing things. There's going to be this ultimate battle between Thrawn and Ahsoka. That's going to happen. It's like I have no idea. Sorry. I'm just so frustrated with this series because there's just nothing exciting. The cliffhanger, I remember it being nothing other than, Ahsoka's about to arrive. And I think it went black at that point. So why am I, Dave Filoni, I don't know where he learned to write stories, but this is just not good. And that's
all right. Let's go to
I love the chat. You made us do this.
No, it's fine.
I still love you guys, but oh my God.